So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends in Prairie Vintage, my name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you guys found me. For those of you guys returning, I'm so blessed to be here. So grateful to do your reading again today. For the membership program, I haven't forgotten about you guys, and I do intend on publishing some members only videos, okay, in the next short while. So if you're not a member, you can certainly subscribe. If you can't do that, then no worries. Your messages will still come out through the public forum here on YouTube. But for the membership, I do intend on making very specific readings. So if you leave a comment there in regards to what you're wanting to see, I will be sure to take those into consideration and obviously work with spirits to deliver that for you guys. I love you guys so much, all of you guys. Specifically, those of you guys who have been supporting me. I know it's not easy financially sometimes to, invest in areas where you could invest in other things. And so I do not take you for granted. I love you guys very much. And I will be posting a lot more videos to that collective there. And since it's a smaller collective, the messages there are going to be very specific. And I'm very excited to do that. So this reading here, we're looking at what sort of blocks is keeping you sort of stuck. Okay, so your specific blocks, but we'll be looking at the divine feminine and the divine masculine aspects of self and getting messages from each sort of side to see where we might be stuck, okay, or how it's impacting your now existing current circumstance, situation, spiritual growth, whatever does pull through. These are the decks I'll be using for today's reading. Okay, I'll put a link right here for those of you guys interested in knowing more about these decks. This is my newest deck right here, which I published earlier today, a video. Okay, I didn't post it to notifications. So if you are interested in that reading, which I did today as well, that will be in my video playlist. Okay, and this will be a pick a card, or I guess a pick an option. These are the animals, and I'll clear these cards and I'll leave the animals out, and whichever animal you're pulled to will most likely have your message. You can crisscross energy as you see fit based on if you are on a spiritual journey with another, like a twin flame, a higher level soulmate. Different aspects of your situation might pull through different animals here. Okay, so yeah, I'll clear this out and then we'll pick your option. Beautiful angels, here are the 4 options to choose from for today's reading. We're looking at what is keeping you blocked and answers from your divine masculine and divine feminine energy. And so for option 1, we have this tortoise. Option number 2, we have this elephant. Option number 3, we have this lion. Option number 4, we have this rhinoceros. I'm thinking I probably should have pulled the animal spirit oracles, although I don't have any of those out right now. So I'll stick to the cards I pulled, but sit with this energy. If you are called to multiple animals, that's fine. Listen to your intuition. Okay, multiple aspects could pull through. And like I mentioned, you could be tapping into someone's energy around you. So keep an open mind, although the messaging should resonate for you. Okay, and I will put the timestamp down below. And when you're ready to select, we will dive into your reading. Hello, gorgeous angel pile 1. You guys picked the turtle or the tortoise. I can't wait to get into your reading. I do suggest you go listen to the intro. We're looking at what blockage is going on right now. And we'll be asking your divine masculine and divine feminine energy. Okay, we have both energies. And so this will give me an idea of where the blockage sort of is. Okay, don't force any messages to fit. We'll pull 3 tarot cards, and we will also pull from the graffiti oracle here and a blind spot oracle. Okay, and then clarify with the essential oil oracles. Okay, so beautiful angel pile number 1, we're looking at what is keeping pile 1 blocked. Where are the blockages, Spirit? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile 1. Please help me to channel in a way pile 1 will understand. Thank you so much. So the left side is going to be your feminine. The right side is going to be your masculine. And the center card is going to be sort of the energy that ties these two in. Now, feminine rules the right side of the brain. Okay, and the masculine, the left, although the masculine, sorry, my phone's going off. The masculine rules over the right side of the body, okay, and the feminine, the left side of the body. So feminine, masculine, and then the bridged energy. Let's pull one of these blind spot oracles for the collective who's tapped into pile 1. And now let's pull this graffiti. I do feel there's only a 1 here, actually. That's how I'm feeling. Okay, let's take a look. Feminine. Now we have Temperance in reverse, Sagittarius energy, and then we have 4 swords in the middle, and then we have the King of Cups for your divine masculine in reverse. For the blind spot oracle, we have the positive with 54, or the number 9, and with this graffiti oracle card, we have cyber flashing, sending obscene images to strangers online, violation of digital boundaries, unseen predator. Okay, don't take words literally, okay? I don't know if I could show cleavage. I'm pretty sure I've seen worse on YouTube, but I'll just do that just in case. We have number 17. Could be a significant number, okay? Could be a birthday. That's number 8 as well. 8's about movement, change, attainment. 9 is about fruition, completion, fulfillment. Okay, so let me sit with this energy and channel what we have here. Pile number 1, your divine feminine, it feels as though it is doing a lot of healing these days. I feel like there's a lack of trust maybe going on within you, and this creates a lack of trust of your environment. I feel like what you might feel like you're outputting into the world, okay, this can go speak to your relationships. This could speak to your presentation of self, I feel. Like how put together you are, or whether you are representing a part of yourself that you feel connected to that is authentically you. I feel like there's a part of you that's being shown to the world, okay, in your relationships, specifically for most of you guys, it's relationship, okay, but it's like, it doesn't have to be like intimate partnership, like a lover's relationship, so much as it is how you're presenting yourself in relationship to others, friends, family, work, coworkers. So take what resonates here, but I feel like it's not a true representation of what your divine feminine is really wanting to appear as. And so this could be frustrating, specifically because there might be an inner understanding that there's a greater truth to this divine feminine that wants to be honored and wants to be unleashed in a way where it feels safe, where there is trusting relationship. And I feel like for your energy here, it seems almost like my environment isn't safe and isn't supporting this about myself. And maybe where there's a miss here is that it's actually going on internal, meaning there is a misalignment here internally with the divine feminine, or not connecting, or a need to heal. So if we've been in situations where we might have had to put trust in other, and we might have had to maybe even just allow things to unfold, or even where we might try to show compassion or a trust in other, we might have been disappointed. in the past. Okay, and so this has created some form of understanding that we might have in maybe questioning our own discernment and who we can trust and how we can trust. And so it's created this complex, if you will, within us, and trusting our divine feminine, when to allow ourselves to be trusting, when to allow ourselves to go into that softer energy where we can allow people to come in. Okay, so I feel like on the divine masculine side here, there seems to be disconnect from the emotions because it might have led you astray in the past, or it's created nothing but disharmony in my world. And it's like when I trusted in the past, or when I let loose, or when I just let things happen or things fall into place, it presented itself in resulting in something that was unpleasant. And so maybe people took advantage, or people might have took your your kindness for weakness. And so there seems to be almost a rejection of emotions here, or a suppression. Like, I will not allow myself to go there emotionally, and I can't allow others to sort of go there either, And so I feel like there is this there's this face that we're putting on that ensures that outside world, it does not overstep or impede on this part of self. And so I feel like as a result of this, we're not able to enjoy the deepness that might come from that connection or that experience, because the shoe won't drop on the other side. It's like we can't fall into this safe feeling of trust and relaxation that the other person's got us. Like, I feel like maybe you feel like you haven't heard someone say, hey, like, I got you, and even if someone does say, I got you, it's like, well, I can't fully trust that they do, because if we've believed it in the past, we've been disappointed. And I feel like we might have been having to sit with having to heal this part of this wound. And as a result, it's like it's brought me further from allowing myself to trust my own emotions, or my discernment around who I can trust, or even just trust myself to show emotions, or to go there and to connect deeply with others. So there does seem to be like maybe you believing like I'm I don't know, like I was going to say more cold as a result, or just I don't have deep feelings, or I just can't go there anymore, or I'm irregulated or unbalanced when it comes to my feelings, or I can't trust them if they're telling me one thing, if what they are telling me is true, or that I can rely on them to take proper action or understand what's going on beneath the surface with myself based on these emotions. And so I do feel like there's a shutting of what those emotions could be trying to tell you. So the blockage would be, I feel a certain way, but I'm really being drawn here to the stained glass here and this imagery that I've never seen before. It's like, it's giving me a 6 cups energy very much so in the background here. And so I feel like 6 cups is talking about the past, past experience. And it's really dictating our now energy. It's like that innocent love, that experience, that person, that past relationship, or even how I connected to my family members in a way that has presented some form of heartache or some form of disappointment, is something I haven't been able to process or work through. And so it's creating this challenge in your now experience. And so instead of experiencing a fulfilled connection or a fulfilled experience with other, to the point where it's like fulfilled, like to its potential, there is this block. And this block is really stemmed from an internal belief that I can go there or trust, or that other people have well-intended meanings, or that they are truly as they say that they are. Because the minute I sort of let go of this fear or this understanding that I have, it gives an opening to get hurt again, or to have them hurt me or repeat some sort of past experience that I already had. So I feel like this leaves you with an energy here of presenting yourself in certain ways to other people that aren't necessarily the true version of who you are, but we don't really tap into that energy because we haven't allowed ourselves to go there. So there always seems to be this more of a superficial bonding. Okay. And a suspecting the worst in other, or that the other is going to be out there to hurt me. And if I don't catch it or understand it or see it in time, I might become a victim. And so other always looks like predator. Other always looks like a threat. Okay, so let's see. We'll pull the essential oil oracles to give us some more. Pile one. About this block for pile one. What does pile one need to know about this divine masculine, divine feminine block? Does it feel like your divine masculine energy is like both of them, Spirit? Yeah, I feel like your divine masculine energy here is like coming online strongly in a way that's like overriding the divine feminine. Like there is no point to feelings. Feelings only get you hurt. You just disregard them. It's not about what you feel. It's about, maybe what you do or how you say it or how you show up. That's what matters, or that's what people see. So overrides this internal feeling of maybe wanting to feel more deeply or connect more deeply or acknowledge these feelings. It's like, no, I'll just dismiss these feelings, that they don't exist or they're not there, or that I don't have a good hold of these things. And it's really like a deeper need to heal and reflect on the experience of the past in an honest way that allows oneself to process, so that in the present moment, when presented with an experience like a relationship, we can be present. We can acknowledge your feelings as truthful, because I don't feel like we trust our own feelings in the present moment without I'm going to say dictating. It's more like it shows us something about ourselves from the past that we still haven't healed fully. And so for pile one, Spirit, what are they needing to know about this blockage in regards to the divine masculine and feminine? Steadying, anchor, trigger statement, I am not ready for what comes next. True statement, I take it one step at a time. Although things are shifting so quickly, be present and know this is part of a greater plan. So we might be faced with some sort of situation where we're having to push ourselves, and push ourselves towards a natural connecting to feelings. So I feel like for this group, there feels to be a difficulty in trusting where we commit to and moving past a certain point. So let's say we get to a certain place in a relationship, okay, with someone. Now, this, like I said, does not have to necessarily mean like an intimate relationship so much as it is letting certain people get into a certain depth of understanding us, and then like feeling the fear or like feeling the block and not letting anyone get any further deeper towards understanding us. And so the guidance here is talking about taking one step at a time and allowing ourselves to dive in deeper towards what it is that we're feeling, because I do feel there's an imbalance here regarding the emotional body, which needs some steadying, meaning the only way to steady those emotions is to sit with those emotions, which means reflecting and acknowledging and not taking action right away until we sort of feel comfortable or acknowledge that this is what I am feeling. Because I feel like what's happening is there's a radical sort of dismissal of the energy, like the energy of the emotion, like it shouldn't exist, or all you've done is hurt me in the past, so I'm dismissing it, or I'm I don't know, like not taking action on it, or even acknowledging that emotion is even here. And it's like an energy almost of like thinking about a way that we have to present ourselves, and that's the way that we engage. And everything else is dismissed. And so it's imbalanced, because it's like I'm more focused on how I appear and how I engage and what I look like and what's actually going to unfold for me, rather than let the unfolding sort of show to me based on my truest, deepest feelings of what I want and what I feel and how I connect to these emotions, and get really rooted in that. And that will be my guiding star, because I feel like maybe we feel almost too like there could be a situation in which we cannot trust no matter what. And it could definitely be something very positive or very trusting, but it will never present itself as trusting, because of the fact that we need to find some safe place within us to harmonize our own emotions, so that we can say, hey, this path or this relationship or this partnership or this way that I'm being called to do is trustworthy. I can connect to it in a way that I can commit, and it's a safe place for me to steady my emotions. But I feel like we're like leapfrogging over top of a very essential process. And so we can never build the strength and trust in that experience that's being presented. So it always seems like, is this true? Is it something that is trustworthy? You know, is this person or the situation something you can rely on? And we keep having that question mark. We can't quite commit to it, or we can't quite anchor to it, you know? And so, of course, we might just keep experiencing more of a shallow type response or engagement or experience from this thing. Juniper berry with projection. Trigger statement, my mind does not rest. True statement, I listen to my higher self. Look at each story that repeats itself in your mind as a stranger would. Ask yourself, is this true? So again, the experience that I was really getting from the 6 cups of the past is sort of dictating what I'm seeing in this present moment. So even if this present moment presented itself with trustworthy people, situations, safe place to experience emotions and feel self out, I feel like there is this, I can't trust that. You know, like I can't trust it. And I have suspicious thoughts, you know, and these thoughts keep going back to what if whatever happened in the past happens again? And the what ifs. And I feel like we're really driven by the what if, rather than being in this present moment of the what is happening. Okay. This is interesting because these are 2 different colored cards, and I don't think that there is this color in this deck. Sorry, my phone's going off. I don't think there's this color in this deck. Is there? I thought there was. Sorry, it's baffling to me. Oh no, there's 3 colors. I don't know if this cardstock is changing color. Because when I got it, they were all sort of one color. That's fascinating. Sorry. Okay, well, we have this reddish, purplish color here. Okay, which I feel is root chakra stuff. I'm not even really getting purple so much as the root chakra, because I feel like, because this is all about feeling grounded and secure in oneself, you know, like where we're ready to take the next step because we feel secure and we feel safe and we feel like we're protected, and that our environment protects or is providing a safe space to be protected. It's almost like if we have to sleep with our eye open, we can't safely feel like we could rest. Like if someone says, I got you, you know, if you don't trust that person or that environment, you still can't rest, you still can't sleep, and you feel like you just cannot trust. It feels like a big trust thing here, you know, but it's mostly what's going on the inside as a result of a past experience. Okay, and so we have renewing. Forgiveness. Trigger statement, I did not deserve this. And the true statement is, I forgive. Allow the labels of judgment to disappear. See the situation and individuals through your heart. Forgive yourself. So this is the heart chakra. And so as we ascend, as we become more in tune with greater states of consciousness, we then see that forgiveness actually, it comes to the point where there is really no such thing as a forgiveness, you know? And what I mean by that is we see beyond the actions of others as something that is creating some form of take away from us. In other words, did this person, this situation, this experience, even though in that moment it hurt me, or it did something within myself that at that moment felt very real to me as an experience. In hindsight, when we're in a higher state of consciousness, we look back and we see that all of those actions and what had happened was happening as a result of an external person or situation that was unfolding, that it really did not have anything to do with us personally. Okay, and so there's really nothing to forgive so much as seeing the unfolding of karmic events and situations and people going through their own lessons and learnings. Okay, but I mean, this doesn't take away the fact that we might have felt victimized or hurt or betrayed in some capacity. Okay, but I do feel like there is a bit of a projection here that doesn't allow there to be a release of what we hang on to. And as we know, when we hang on to resentment or that someone's did us dirty or hurting, we're the only ones that carry that burden. And we could carry that heaviness, okay, and it goes through us. And then it impacts our present situation. And so the only person really being impacted by this carrying of this burden would be ourselves. And so we forgive so that we are free of burden. We forgive so that we don't have to impact the present moment with the experiences of the past. And so I feel like when we do that switch in perception, that this experience didn't happen to me, and I can allow a release here of whatever this did in order for me to experience a present moment in its fullest, and that will be my driver. Then I think we switch how we see things. Okay, but I do feel like this is rising above in consciousness and acting from the heart space rather than a projection of the mind. Because I feel like when we think about the story, we get charged. When we think about it, there's all these stories that come through as justifications and reasons and things that might sound logically sound, but logic could definitely come from certain beliefs. And so as we know, beliefs don't necessarily mean that they are absolute truths. And so this is what I've socially conditioned myself to believe. And therefore I run with those beliefs. But yet greater state of consciousness would say that there might be a greater truth from the heart that is more true, more aligned with objective truth, okay, God's truth, that isn't necessarily a projection, that isn't necessarily supporting an experience. So this doesn't mean that my experience didn't happen, but it means my experience might have not have happened in the exact same way that I'm telling myself in my mind of how it unfolded and why it unfolded and the truth of that. There might be a greater truth that allows there to be a forgiveness of what we experience. Because I feel like in order for us to be able to enjoy something here that is being presented to you, pile number one, like a true deep relationship or an experience, it can't get past this sort of guard or this emotional layer that's not allowing things to get deep. Okay, so I feel the masculine sort of on an overdrive here, you know, and it's trying to do everything it can to not allow the feminine online, because it connects to the feminine as being too emotional or weak in some capacity, in some regard. Okay, so we have monthly receptivity, trigger statement, I am guarded, and the true statement, my heart is open. This is a time for you to receive new information. Open your heart to receive it. So yeah, I do feel there's a block here, okay? And heart might really be talking about like the emotional part of us being able to give and receive love from that trusting place without suspecting and projecting, okay? It is very difficult to do when we're still hanging on to the experience of the past. And so I do feel like there is something here about acknowledging how that guard is actually not keeping you safe. It is actually keeping you from experience. And that's the purpose that's happening now. It's like it's keeping you from a true deep experience. Okay, and too much fear in opening and trusting the heart space. Now, I'm not sure what monthly means, but monthly could be definitely talking about, you know, a month cycle. It could be a lunar cycle. Now, I am drawn to this little spirally thing, and you have them 3 times here. Okay, and so I feel like there might be cyclical behaviors and patterns that are happening. And I feel like it's like a reset. And so this could mean I keep getting to the same place in a relationship and then it falls apart, or to a certain place of comfort when it comes to opening up. And then that's as far as I go. And then I repeat the same maybe pattern of pushing someone out or getting guarded or something that sabotages self or the connection or the experience. Okay, so maybe we're acknowledging or seeing this repeat pattern in self that acts as a guard of this heart. Okay, and so we have Jasmine, and it's this passion. Trigger statement, I am scared. And the true statement, when I am vulnerable, I am at my strongest. Reconnect with your feminine energy and pursue something that ignites your fire. Open the gates of your fortress and explore. So your feminine, like I said, is being stifled by the masculine, which thinks it's strong by being guarded, by disregarding its emotions. And it's actually creating a block here. Okay, it's not strong, and we're strong in being vulnerable. So this means acknowledging, sitting with one's own emotions, and acknowledging the pains of the past as they experience. But then it isn't justifying it in the mind that, yes, this pain happened, and all of this story of projection. This moment of reflection is actually working to see a greater state of consciousness of forgiveness from the heart space, that what did happen didn't take away from your essence. It didn't take away from your ability to connect to your deepest emotions, so that in this present moment and any opportunity that shows up, you can be available in your emotional house, trusting yourself, because it's not really about trusting others so much as it is trusting yourself, because other can't do anything to your essence, to your being. And so it's as long as you sit in a balanced state of your own emotions, other can't do anything to you. Okay, so I feel like this is what you're working through. Beautiful angel, we have Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sagittarius energy pulling through. That doesn't have to be your sun sign, okay, but it is talking about emotions, talking about, even with this like fortress, it talks about open the gates of your fortress and explore, which is Sagittarius energy, because I feel like we're holding ourselves back of exploring something we might be very, very, very passionately pulled to, like a new relationship, or even if we failed at, like, let's say, a creative pursuit and got very disappointed by it, because like I said, we're in relationship with everything. And so it's like, I went down this path in the past and it disappointed me. There was a letdown, or we got betrayed maybe by business partners or a game plan. And it's like, we don't want to go there emotionally to like buy into that story, because we don't want to be let down. We don't want the past to repeat. We don't want to commit. We don't want to pin ourselves to something and go down with that ship. And so this is talking about acknowledging what is true and releasing what sort of is a projection of the past, so that we are free to sort of take baby steps towards moving past a certain point. Okay. Because I do feel there's a passion here, and there is something true that is staying on the surface. And with this receptivity, again, this is the feminine energy that wants to pull through here and wants to allow itself to be seen and experienced and explored. And so we might have to do that on our own, so that we're okay with other, exploring this thing. But I feel like we don't even explore our own receptivity, because I feel there's a shutting out of this, or an assumption already made that I don't need to feel this, or I've already done the healing. Meanwhile, we're still carrying some sort of understanding, burden, projection. This needs to get unwound or seen through, because there is an imbalance when it comes to you connecting to your own emotions and healing this thing, which is very real, that is happening as an experience to you. Okay, so this takes the hermit work, which you're seeing the 9. Okay, and I do feel with the 9, it's also impacting your future. Okay, because what we do in this present moment is going to roll out in a certain way. And so the star comes through, okay, as your future destiny, or some plan that you are being called upon would require you to heal this part of self of a past experience, so that you can attain some sort of thing that's for you. And I feel like star is attaining one's wish. And so whatever you're really wanting, I feel is in line for you. And only to get there, we must overcome this blockage of not connecting to the emotion. And again, this need for forgiveness. Okay. So we have Leo and we have Aquarius also pulling through. Beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped. Let me know in the comments how this resonated for you, and I will see you at the next one. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, pile number 2. You guys picked the elephant here. Let's get into your reading, shall we? Actually, I'll put it right here. No, I'll put it right here. So we're going to pull 3 tarot cards, and we're looking at what blockages is getting in the way right now of you moving forward. Okay, and we're looking at your feminine and masculine energy and how they're sort of working with each other and connecting with each other to see where the block is happening. Okay, so on the left side, we're going to pull the divine feminine energy, and on the right, we're going to pull the divine masculine. Now, I know that the divine feminine rules the right part of the brain and the masculine the left, although the feminine does rule the left side of the body and the masculine the right. So, Spirit, for pile number 2, what are the blockages going on with pile 2 in regards to the masculine feminine energy with pile 2? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Please help me to channel in a way pile 2 will understand what is being communicated for them. So that's the feminine, and now the masculine energy, and then the tying energy between. Okay, we'll pull some oracles as well for beautiful pile number 2. What is the blockage going on here for pile 2, getting in the way of their progress? And we'll pull the graffiti cards as well for pile 2, Spirit. What is the blockage getting in the way of growth and progress? I do feel there's one from this pile as well. Sorry, this deck is humongous. Okay. Now, do not take words literal. Okay, because it's going to be the energy that I channel. Those didn't feel right. So for pile number 2, Spirit, what is the blockage? Oh, that one. No, it's good. I do feel there's one more, though. In this pile? Yes, there it is. Okay. All right. Pile number 2. Let's take a look. So your divine feminine has the Knight of Wands. Your divine masculine, we have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. And the connecting energy, we have the 8 Wands. Okay, and then in the blind spot oracle, we have blinding pessimism with 58 or 13, which is Scorpio energy. Then we have jilted, suddenly rejected or abandoned, left without warning, betrayed emotionally, unfulfilled promises. And then we also have paper tiger, something or someone that seems threatening or powerful but is actually weak or ineffective. And then we also have buffer, protective barrier from external forces, ensuring you don't swing too hard in one direction, time and delay. Okay, I just heard the Spoons song, Paper Tiger. It might be of some significance here. Okay, let me channel this message, although it is coming very clear. Okay, beautiful angel. Hopefully this becomes clear as I unpack this messaging to you. I feel like there is something here that is really calling to you to explore, okay? It does feel to me like something in regards to a passion project, okay? But it's just like your own experience and whatever it is that maybe you've been telling yourself based on what your reality has been, has created your divine feminine to be on some sort of overdrive. Okay, and I feel like the overdrive is almost like a catching up energy. Like I feel like you're really invested in something that's misaligned right now for you. And I feel like you're pulling from your masculine energy a lot in order to upkeep what's misaligned. And so in other words, this is really strong. It's like if things were in flow, you would be able to allow your feminine and your masculine to come online, because whatever you are doing would be rewarding and it would emotionally be fulfilling, and you would be able to sort of take the ups and the downs, meaning like when things feel good and fulfilling, and then at times where you would have to pick up the masculine and make things sort of happen or take on responsibility, okay, would be balanced. But I feel like right now in your world, I feel like your masculine is in overdrive, meaning you're either working too hard or trying to do everything yourself or keep something tickety boot, like functioning, and it's so draining. And so there's this other thing that I feel like is calling to you. And it's like, how can I even do that thing when I'm totally invested in this other thing? It's almost like if you have a 9 to 5 job, or even like, 9 to 9, where you're like so drained. Okay. And it's like your energy is spent. And the last thing you want to do is like even entertain anything outside of that. And so I feel like the feminine energy isn't given a break, isn't given a time to enjoy anything outside of it stepping up into this masculine energy to maintain the burden or the heavy lifting in order to keep things, again, tickety boo, or going in your world. Like someone has to pay the bill, or someone has to do the thing, or someone has to show up here. And it feels like you're the one stepping up. You're the one stepping up. But I feel like it could be something that is creating a lot of burnout, and it's a lot of burnout because it's like the divine masculine is tired, for one, because it's now playing the role of like the divine feminine as well. And the divine feminine, which is sort of stifled here in a way that it doesn't allow itself to reap the reward of like when we do take action on something, and it's almost like we work on a project and then we work on a project to be fulfilled or to reap the rewards of what it has to offer. And I feel like the reward of what it has to offer is not coming. It's almost like just keeping our head afloat. And so if the reward doesn't come, it's like, what am I doing this for, when there is no sort of light at the end of the tunnel? And then it's like a need to sort of sustain something here. And I feel like it keeps you busy. And I also feel like it's also at the expense of something else that we could switch to, because I feel like what we could switch to is something here that would be rewarding and would allow your feminine energy to take reward, because I feel it is more balanced in your world, and it's more aligned to you. So it wouldn't feel like you'd have to overextend yourself in some regard. Okay. And so I do feel like, I feel like you feel like you don't have it within you to explore or entertain or move outside of what you're already invested in. But it's as a result of the fact that the energy that you are expending is going towards something else and that is not necessarily aligned. And so yeah, like the story would go, well, I wouldn't have enough time, or I would just burn out because I'm already almost on burnout mode here, and I would be required to do this and that and like take action and do all this stuff. And so the projection of the thing that needs to overcome, or the thing that must be done in order for this new project, a creative endeavor, to be explored, does require there to be an acknowledgement of what is happening with your energy right now. And this is why it's very important to be in the present moment, because right now there's an energy of like a burning out. It's only, and if you haven't burnt out, it's only so long before you burn out, because this energy hasn't reaped the reward of like, what's it for? And so you might feel like, what's it for? And then we sort of cast that out into everything, like, oh, like, what's it for? Like, we are not really seeing through the eyes of someone from a neutral sort of perspective, but sort of through the eyes of someone who keeps picking up more, and then it shows up as like a draining energy. And what's it all for? Whereas this other experience would be something that would be fulfilling. And I do feel like there would be an ability to relax and periods of comfort and periods of like joy. Okay. And I think this is why we can't commit, or why we can't explore this other thing. And it's like, I can't give to it, or I don't have the time to give to it, or like all my time is invested in this other thing, or eventually this will be, there will be a moment. Because I think like, it's not like you don't want this other thing or explore this other thing, but it feels to me like it's never happening, or it doesn't feel like it's coming. And you always feel like maybe now's not the time. like I should already be in that, but it hasn't happened. Why hasn't it happened yet for me? And like all of a sudden the universe is just going to do the switch. But the universe is talking about you acknowledging and making that switch yourself, because I feel like this is a conscious shift and switch regarding where's your energy spent before it gets too burnt out. Okay. And so I feel like there's a conscious switch here towards putting that energy towards the thing that we're wanting to experience. But I feel like we might already come with this preconceived notion that this thing is just going to be added on top of all of my responsibility, or that I have to maintain this other thing that I'm doing that's misaligned completely, which is actually not true. And I don't know why we feel we have to keep burning and turning here, and that could be the misconception. It's like no one else will engage in that, or this thing needs my involvement in some way. But it could go deeper than that, is like maybe there's something going on even more below the surface, such as I could have an underlying belief that I wouldn't be the right fit for that, or I'm going to prolong that in case it turns into a disappointment or a failure or something I can't actually carry or invest in. But here I know, it's like here I know I can win, but win what? Because I feel like maybe we're just proving some form of a victory that I feel is empty. So it's like here I could prove my own masculine energy of doing the work, or like overcoming the thing or doing the thing. It's like I could take action here as a doer and accomplish it over and over and over again and stay on top of it. Okay. And this new world is like, I don't know that I could stay on top of it. I don't know what's required of me. I don't know how much of myself I have to expend. It's something I haven't done yet. And so what if my masculine energy isn't capable of winning, And so this could be some form of attachment we might have to what victory looks like, or our own identity, or our own self-worth is driven by our masculine energy of how much it could produce, or how much it could maintain, or how it successfully appears or carries some form of, since I can do, that means I win, I hope that made sense, but let's see. We'll pull this essential oil oracle and see if we could get some more regarding this block. Beautiful angel for pile 2. What is this block in regards to their masculine feminine energy that's not allowing them to break free or move forward? We have grapefruit. I'm going to pull all of them first. And we have lang lang for pile 2. What is this block? And we have lime. These two, there's 3. No, I'm going to take the bottom. I'm going to take that one. I do feel there might be one more because we did get 3, but it wasn't those 3. There it is. Okay. All right. And then we have ginger, and we have Melissa, and we have black pepper. Okay. So grapefruit, nourishment, trigger statement. It is all my fault. True statement. I see what I truly need. Your energetic body needs nourishment, so begin to discern physical hunger from spiritual hunger. Cherish your body and the way it supports you. So I do feel that's that energy of because I can do it, I'm doing it. But just because you can do it doesn't mean you should be doing it. And so I feel it's at an expense of the feminine energy, but the soul, the spirit here, because I feel like it's not nurturing or supporting a part of self, but it's stifling a part of yourself here. And so we're stuck in this sort of doing energy. Okay. But I feel like there's something more you're needing, and it's actually going to nourish you more. And it's going to provide, like I said, a form of, I felt like, more relaxation, more periods of break and comfort, which maybe now is like, there's no time for me to rest, or, I can't rest right now in this environment. It doesn't give me reprieve, or it doesn't give me periods where I can sit there and enjoy breaks and moments where it's like, oh, I accomplished this thing, and now I can reap the reward and sit here and reflect on my accomplishment or what's happened, and go with the peaks and the valleys. This seems like go, but it's totally misaligned here. Okay. So we have lang lang, and it says awaken. Trigger statement. I don't know what to do. And the true statement, every moment is a new opportunity. Take time today to engage your senses and create. The tension that has been dividing your head and heart is leaving. Take time today to engage your senses and create. The tension that has been dividing your head and heart is leaving. So I feel like, again, there's this like knowing of what you think, where you got to be and do. And then there's a deeper sort of desire in your heart. And I do feel like it's this engaging in some sort of opportunity, okay, that is new to you to create. And instead of creating the new, we stay in the old. And your soul is saying, awaken to that which is calling you, which is actually aligned more truthfully. But even if you don't know what to do, because I feel like we're letting our projections and our guesses of what it might be like, and we're still like in an old energy here of what our current circumstance might be. And it's like, I can't take on this new with this old energy or what I have been doing, because it's like, I don't know what to do in this new world. And Spirit is saying, trust, it will unfold. Okay, that it's a new opportunity for you to explore differently. That will be rewarding to you. Okay, so we have line with gratitude. Trigger statement, I am overwhelmed. Totally feeling it from this energy. Okay, the true statement, I am moving. The time for planning is complete. Take action, no matter how small, begin today. So we're using a lot of reasoning why we got to stay put and burning and turning. And so the energy is, like I said, expend somewhere else. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I don't have time for this new thing. And then we're totally overwhelmed and overworked and overstressed. Okay, but Spirit wants you to take a step in that new direction. All right, so we have Ginger and Will. So true statement, I am a victim. Trigger statement, I am a victim. True statement, I am powerful beyond measure. You are strong and capable. With gratitude, optimism, and action, manifest the life you desire. So again, this is because I do feel like some of you guys are maybe waiting for a turnaround, you know, like divine timing is going to turn around here all of a sudden. And Spirit is saying divine timing is already presented itself in a way that's now generating a will from within, because will comes from within, but it's come from a consciousness of a realization. And this realization has to sort of be seen and reflected upon from the inside of, it's now time for me to internally make this decision and realization using my will of how I'm seeing something and engaged with something, because you are the one that's involved with your action. And turning yourself towards what you actually are being called to experience, that you have it within yourself. And it's really the dialogue of how you're attaching to where you need to be and what you need to do and why you need to do it that's going to drive this change. Okay, purpose. Yeah, beautiful. So, Melissa, it says here, trigger statement, what is the point of it all? True statement, I am special. You have a unique place in this world with gifts and talents that only you can provide. Use your connection with the divine to share them. So this is all about your purpose. I feel like you've been called for some time now on a divine journey of some grander purpose here. And I feel like you're burning out in another area of your life here. Okay. And so you are talented, you're gifted, there's a purpose here, there's something you're supposed to deliver to the collective and work with the divine to share this. But I feel like you're burnt out and you're invested in something here that keeps perpetuating itself. Okay, and it doesn't need to, but there needs to be a realization and then a turning of our attention and a letting go of maybe, again, because the masculine energy here almost feels like it owes some honor, or it needs to do this thing in order to have its success, you know, and so it may be pegging its success to something that is not necessarily success, because it feels empty here. It feels like a burning and turning. Okay. What is the point of it all? So the more I work and the more I invest here, it's like there is no real reward here. Like it's not allowing this masculine to rest. It's not giving the masculine safe place, because even the masculine wants a place to rest and feel nourished and feel loved and feel like what it expended its energy on is worth something. Otherwise, it just sort of feels used towards something to accomplish at no means of a great sort of reward. Okay. And only this thing that you are doing is sort of being pulled from the masculine energy, so much so that its reservoir, its reserves is being depleted. And the feminine is sort of lost in this mix because I feel like the feminine energy here is not capable, okay, just based on the energy I'm talking, capable of this sort of drive of within to accomplish some sort of doing, okay, because I'm getting a lot of emperor energy of a doing, accomplishing, successing, and no one else can sort of do. So the masculine comes on overdrive, but it's like, yeah, but even the emperor and the masculine then needs, okay, good work and reward, for its hard work, because it can't be on masculine overdrive here, because I feel there's a burnout happening with this masculine energy within you. Okay, so we see black pepper with integrate. Trigger statement, I am trapped. And the true statement, I am whole. Allow the parts of yourself you hide to make themselves known. In the light, you will see the wisdom they hold. So masculine talks about wisdom energy, okay, because the masculine rules the thought. And so I feel like when the thought isn't projection and when the thought isn't from pain body, but the thought comes from true experience of wisdom, it moves differently. And so I feel like there's a need for an integration of both the masculine and the feminine in a way here that the feminine can reward the masculine when the masculine has to come online and do. But the masculine almost feels tricked and trapped because it's like the more I'm doing, the more is required of me to do. But yet it's like a maze that doesn't end, or an unfulfilled sort of project here. Okay, but it needs to recognize, or I guess you would need to recognize here, the whole of self, which means the feminine and the masculine online working in unison and not constantly pulling from this masculine energy. Okay, in order for there to be this understanding of wisdom that comes through, then knowing how to move forward towards the thing that's your purpose or your passion or your calling. Because I feel like there's a need to claim it and take a step in that direction. And the 8 wands talks about all of these wands are sort of like a strategy plan. Okay, that's motion and action. And one of these wands is going to hit target. And so this fear we might have of like, I don't know what to do. Okay, but there's this greater truth that's like, take any step, even a small step, no matter how small, and begin today. Because one of these action steps is going to land, and it's going to land towards, but we have to aim with the 8 wands here. Okay. And so instead of like completely pulling this masculine energy towards this other thing, it needs to be sort of directed towards this new purpose thing. Because then I feel like the shifting of the feminine could come online, and the integration here of self would be a lot easier because it's more balanced. Okay, so I hope this made sense. There's a lot sort of going on here, but I feel like there's something deeper that we didn't touch on as to why it is this masculine, or why we are pulling on the masculine reservoirs to do this thing. And it could be a belief or an understanding or a habitual or a something here. Okay, that's really something else going on underneath the surface that is thinking it may fall short, or that it's not capable of some form of an accomplishment or carrying out some form of plan, but it totally is. Okay, so it could just be this pessimism. It won't work out. I'll fail. I tried in the past. It didn't work, or it's going to require too much of me, or I don't have the money, or I don't have this, or I don't have that, or some sort of self-speak which is untrue. But we can't see it, and we just sort of stay put here, but burning out, okay? So I hope this resonated, or at least made sense to you. Okay, beautiful angel, and I will see you at your next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked the carved lion, and we're going to take a look at what blocks are getting in the way of your progress here, and we'll look at the masculine, feminine energy. Okay, so on the left, we'll see the feminine. On the right, we'll see the masculine energy that's going on within you. And then in the middle, we will take a look at the shared energy, or how it's connecting the two. Okay, now I know that the feminine generally rules the right side of the brain, and the masculine the left, but the masculine rules the right side of the body, and the feminine is the left side of the body. So feminine on the left, masculine on the right, and we're going to ask what blocks are getting in the way here of pile number 3. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message. I'm seeing 2 cups here, but I'm not going to take it. I'll take it into consideration. What's going on with beautiful pile number 3? Clear and concise message. Please help me to channel in a way pile 3 will understand. Thank you so much, pile 3, for being here and allowing me to do your reading today and tap into your energy. You can crisscross energy regarding your situation, people you might be dealing with. Okay, only take messages that resonate for you. So on the left, we have feminine. On the right, we have masculine. In the middle, we have shared energy. We'll pull some oracles. Blind spot oracle for pile number 3. What is the block going on right now between pile 3's masculine, feminine energy that they're needing to know or see or understand at this time? Well, this deck is massive. Massive. For pile number 3. We got 2 cards. Yes. Is that it? Yes. Okay. So let's take a look. Pile number 3. Your feminine side, we have the 8 of Cups in reverse. And your masculine side, we have the Queen of Swords. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Connecting energy, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. And Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Blind spot oracle, we have projection with 59. And then we have saying less is saying more. You don't need to say anything at all. Your action speaks loud and clear. Move in silence, quiet power. Getting an email icon here. Okay, and then we have getting more serious, moving from light and casual to more forced. No, oh my goodness, I don't know why I said that. Moving from light and casual to more focused, meaningful or grounded, planting roots with this engagement ring. We saw 2 cups coming through, which I said I would take into consideration here. We have card number 14, which is temperance energy. Okay, so we have Hierophant, which is commitment here. Could even talk about marriage. We see the ring here. So it doesn't have to be like a marriage in traditional sense, such as things coming together with the temperance energy, the marriage energy, that's Hierophant. Okay, so we have some Taurus and some Sagittarius. And like I said, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and then some Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, let me sit here with this energy and channel what comes through. Okay, pile number 4. No, 3. Oh my goodness. You might be tied to 4 potentially, okay? I don't believe anything's sort of a slip up here, but what's going on in your feminine energy? I feel like there is difficulties happening here in your feminine energy, okay? And what I mean by difficulties, there is certain emotional experiences that I feel have been very disappointing here. And I feel it's been disappointing in allowing you to feel fulfilled emotionally. And this could come in many different ways, depending on what you feel personally as emotional fulfillment. So this could be feeling unseen or unloved or unrecognized or underappreciated or acknowledged or whatever this emotional unfeeling is here. Okay, and then it's like is something within this energy of like keeping you in situations. This could be habitual. This could be relationships that just keep sort of surfacing in a way that it doesn't allow oneself to break out of this sort of disappointing experience. Okay, and I do feel that the masculine has had to come online with a more factual sort of approach here and seeing things more from a logical perspective based on, again, an emotional sort of shutdown here or a disappointment of past. And even feeling like one can't break out of the circumstance or situation or relationship or whatever is presented itself as emotionally dissatisfying, and having a very hard time sort of leaving that, okay, and accept some form of truth. But I feel like the masculine energy has become where we protect ourselves. And so this masculine's coming online, okay, you're masculine, provided this is your energy, of course, to protect the feminine. Because the feminine here has been disappointed and hurt. And so the masculine is saying, I am now the only one here that can create a sense of boundary based on my experience to communicate where I won't have this or where I need that, in sort of a a clear-cut way. Okay. But I feel like it's at the expense of going there again, whatever they're going there, whatever going there again looks like, because I feel like there is a challenge here in regards to allowing oneself to commit. Okay, because I do feel like this is a card of commitment, and this Hierophant energy we were getting is a card of commitment, and this Temperance is really like a balancing the emotional house, which is your feminine energy, with the masculine to be more in a balanced state. But I feel like the masculine is mostly online here to sort of drive the agenda and say, I must keep the boundary as it is, and I must sort of protect myself, because I do not want to be in situations that are sort of unsatisfying or emotionally depleting, or haven't reflected back to me my value, that I might have taken a very long time to walk away from or disconnect from, or it's really sort of made a number on me and maybe how I see and feel about myself. And so I do not want to commit to or peg myself to something that maybe we're understanding of ourselves. It's like, I can't agree to anything that would be long term, or I can't see myself as someone who would build something maybe with someone else, or something that I could commit to more serious or deep. And so I feel like there is this heavy energy coming from the masculine as a boundary. And I feel like rather than it being discerning and having just a boundary and protecting one's own emotions, there's this intense energy of overcompensating, meaning I'm speaking before I even allow a situation maybe to unfold. So this could be like, I want nothing to do with commitment, or I want nothing to do with relationship, or I want nothing to do with someone who does this or does that, or I don't know, some sort of understanding we have here that I feel we're pegging to, which we can, of course, because we have our free will to do what we want. But I feel like it's based on an experience that was disappointing in the past, that's now dictating my own ability to actually engage with things that might be more fulfilling or successful or long-term or more serious, or even planting roots for myself. And so I feel like we're cutting situations off before they've even proven to be something successful or emotionally fulfilling. And so I do feel like you definitely have boundaries in place here that might be keeping people out, whether you are not familiar, whether you're consciously aware of this boundary or not. They feel it's very loud coming from this masculine energy again. So it could be someone who's very intimidating or very like scary to approach when it comes to the relationship side or the softer side. It's like, I want to protect myself in this sort of manner. Okay. But I feel like it is, again, with this Queen of Swords, which really talks about our experience of the past, which dictates our action. It's like a projection, because I feel like what has happened in the past was emotional dissatisfaction, situations that held us feeling held hostage, where we didn't feel emotionally safe or like fulfilled. And it could be that we were overfilling other people's cups, because the Eight of Cups sometimes talks about filling everyone's cup and no one like filling our own. And it's like an endless sort of cycle here of overgiving and overinvesting, and then feeling empty at the end of the day, or just drained or emotionally dissatisfied. And so for some of you guys, now this is coming in late in this reading, it could also be that we're in a certain situation right now that it is lopsided, where it's like, I'm emotionally depleted and I'm fulfilling other people's cups here at the expense of my own emotional happiness. And I feel like I cannot break out of this thing. And it's like, do I want to have a long-term commitment here? Can I commit to something like this? Can I get more serious here? Do I got to be honest with myself? Do I got to lay boundaries around how much I do invest and who I say is someone worthy of me sort of emotionally investing in here? And not being so invested maybe without actually seeing this more serious commitment, or someone who could be relied upon or who could be trusted to build something greater, like build something greater that is based on something more substantial, rather than it's just being something here that seems I can't rely on a future build, or unreliable people that just emotionally are taking, and I keep sort of investing in some way here. It's like, what is a greater truth of my understanding here? And so this divine masculine is coming online to say, like, learn my boundary, like no more, or like speak a greater truth here, and cut out anything that isn't being upfront, or anyone who isn't serious about what it is that I'm investing here, of myself, of my emotions, of my love, or giving of my time, my effort, my energy, or even my creative sort of creations. Because this could apply to anything, even like, let's say you work in a company where you got to create your own creative sort of investment and present it, and if the company keeps taking your creative ideas or your discoveries and turning it in a way where you're not given your appreciation, or it's not reflected back to you as is your efforts being acknowledged, there's only so much of this we could sort of do. So let's see, because I don't know that I've channeled this 100%, because I feel like there could be these two sort of things going on here. But I do feel like whatever this is preventing there from being something solid built upon in current circumstances, in current situations, current relationships that seem lopsided and seem to have taken a toll, that's generating this more stern masculine energy that won't allow a reoccurrence of like anyone or anything sort of taking advantage. But we could be projecting that just the common experience is taking advantage because of the hurts of the past. It's like, well, I was taken advantage of, so now here is my way of engagement, But it feels sort of cold here in a way. But let's see, Spirit, clear and concise message, because I feel there's something about the way we communicate and the way we are showing up. Okay, that might be presenting one sort of image. Okay, so for pile 3, in regards to this blockage, what do they need to know for pile 3 in this blockage? Pile 3, they're masculine and feminine. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. And I do feel one more. There it is. All right, pile 3. So we have renewing, forgiveness, trigger statement. I did not deserve this, and the true statement, I forgive. Allow the labels of judgment to disappear. See the situation and individuals through your heart. Forgive yourself. So that's this reverse 8 of Cups, because I do feel there has been an experience where you felt emotionally unappreciated, and it made you feel helpless or stuck too. And maybe it took you a very long time to learn boundary or break out of this whole thing. Okay, but there is a need for us to change the perspective, because I do feel with this projection, there's an understanding or an idea we have of someone maybe doing something to us, or a reason we couldn't leave was someone else's sort of fault, or someone else's action, or someone else's doing. Okay, but I feel like once we're able to drop any sort of story that's attached to this experience, then I feel like there's an ability for us not to cut things off before it might turn into something that's longer term, or something that could be relied upon to build some sort of form of like marriage, union, commitment, or a solid project of coming together. Okay, let's see. So we have reassuring with peaceful. Trigger statement, my life is a mess. True statement, I find stillness within. Your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. Go within to find peace there, and your life will reflect that. So yeah, we might be looking at people are unreliable, or situations disappoint, or no one's going to emotionally fulfill this, or people are unreliable, or I can't commit to this, or I can't build with this. But again, projection, because I feel like once we start to understand and work within, Okay, like truly from this place of forgiveness and from this heart place and find this peace and forgiveness, I feel like we're able to manifest differently an outside world. Although my life is a mess right now, I'm not sure if we're really still, like thinking that that past thing is still looming about. Like we still haven't been able to forgive that experience or ourselves for how we engaged. It's like I stayed there longer than need be, or I didn't cut this situation off, or I invested more than I should have for a longer period of time. And it's like, I shouldn't have committed, or I shouldn't have stayed there, or I shouldn't, would, and couldn't, And it's like this need to forgive this part of self as an experience of something, because I feel like the universe wants to give you something to commit to or something to build here. But if we're not seeing it because we're too judgmental about what happened in the past, we might be turning down a gift horse in the mouth, if that's even a saying. Okay, because I do feel there's something coming towards you. Ginger, Will, trigger statement, I am a victim. The true statement, I am powerful beyond measure. You are strong and capable. With gratitude, optimism, and action, manifest the life you desire. Again, about this manifestation. Okay, because we might even be disappointed in what we're experiencing right now. And it might be just mirroring back to us a thing that we might be saying, see, people are untrustworthy, or see, there's an inability to commit, or see, it's like, no, we're creating that manifestation, because I feel like there's a need for us to acknowledge that we aren't the victim here, or a forgiveness of what had happened, even if this means forgiving ourselves for overcommitting or overinvesting or emotionally staying put, or feeling like we weren't strong enough maybe to leave a situation or to speak our truth, to say, hey, this is what I need, or this is what I want, or this is what will make me happy. It's like, how do I speak this truth? And how do I find it within myself? I do feel for a lot of you guys, this could be something you're sort of karmically working through. It's like a greater truth now that I can speak my truth. Like I feel more safe about experiencing about what I experienced in the past, why I couldn't commit, or why I couldn't feel emotionally satisfied in situations because I felt like taken advantage of, or my voice was being stifled in some way, and I feel like this is really sort of impacting a current situation. So we have the Douglas fir, and it says resolution. Trigger statement, the past haunts me. True statement, in this moment I am free. Let yourself be the one to heal the wounds passed down from your ancestors. The release and growth begins with you. So it's really about the past forgiveness, seeing the past as an experience. And it was coming through right before I flipped this card, like I said, a karmic experience. And so karma could be ancestral karmas, past life wounds, and things that are needing to be resolved or looked through or understood and worked through in this lifetime. And it could be that freeing yourself from that would mean experiencing disappointing experiences, but then finding it within yourself to find your voice, to say, I can break from this karmic pattern. I can break from situations that are emotionally not for me, and be honest about what my needs are, what my wants are, specifically when it comes to my emotions, because maybe there's some sort of emotional fulfillment that is important to you specifically, that makes you feel valued and seen and emotionally appreciated, that has been challenging for you to speak about, And so I feel like we are really connecting to that, because in order for us to commit and actually be able to build something, it's important for us to be authentic to our truth. Okay, but also not to shut it out or just turn down opportunity as a repeat of the past. Okay, so Clary Sage with insight. Trigger statement, there is no hope. True statement, there is a higher purpose. Connect with your higher self and allow to be guided to your higher purpose. As the veil of illusion falls away, you will find your answer. So what's the illusion? Projection, disappointments of the past, an inability to forgive, seeing that I am victim, hanging on to past experiences, that my life is actually a mess, therefore it's going to remain a mess in some way. These are all sort of illusions of sorts. And so there is a higher purpose, I feel, here, of something to get committed to, and something that will work through this energy that you've been trying to flesh out. And so I feel like the feminine energy that I feel is offline in some capacity doesn't want to get hurt. And the masculine is stepping out here saying, hey, I will not allow this feminine energy to be hurt no more. And is sort of sitting there like playing house here, guarding oneself, but it's also not allowing the feminine to experience some greater experience that would allow there to be commitment, that would allow there to be a build of something. Because remember, I said that the temperance here I was feeling was like the masculine and feminine working together to be more united and integrated and whole, so that the experience could present itself as something more balanced rather than something more maybe cold, or like, this is my past experience and therefore all experience will result in this, and therefore I won't, or I can't, or or it won't work out. Okay, so inspiring freedom. Trigger statement, I have no choice. That's what this is. Okay, the true statement, I create my day, my life. It is time to play. Do something different today to shift your routine. So I feel like ever since we experienced this emotional letdown, we might have been very hanging on to an idea or an understanding, very much so, you know, where it was like very clear to us. Anything else got cut off. It's like, if it impedes on my emotional freedom, if it imposes on something where I feel from the past, it reminds me of a past experience that was emotionally draining or unfulfilling in some capacity. It's like I connect it back to this, and then I'm making decisions in the present moment as though the past is resurfacing. But I think what Spirit is really talking about here is, once we make peace with this past thing and get fully integrated and balanced with the feminine and the masculine, we're now seeing current situations from different eyes. And although the Queen of Swords is definitely needed in order to lay boundaries and in order to be truthful with wisdom, I feel like there's some form of spoken truth that needs to be spoken to, okay, about what our needs are, what our emotional fulfillment looks like for us, and has to be acknowledged and seen and understood by us, so that we can manifest different around us. And so situations might not seem as threatening, where we might not need so many boundaries here, where we might not need to feel like we're protecting our freedom, like everyone's out to sort of impede on this freedom, you know? It's like, no, I can create the freedom here that I don't have to tie myself to any situation where it's imbalanced, or where I emotionally sort of feeling stuck or drained, or like I'm not free to explore. Because I feel like this might be the fear, is like I might lose that freedom, or I might experience this thing that I don't like. And so I just don't even allow myself to commit or to see anything beyond a certain level. Okay, so yeah, this is kind of where you're getting blocked here. And so there is a greater truth. And I feel like there's an understanding you're working through of really seeing what does freedom actually look like. Once you acknowledge what you have experienced as something that you integrate through forgiveness, through understanding what is projection, through greater level of insight, and making peace with that, that now current situation, circumstance doesn't seem threatening, doesn't seem like it's calling for something that you cannot do or that you don't want to do. Because I don't feel like you're not wanting to not experience love and balance union, or like even at the risk of you emotionally opening up your heart space, because I feel like everyone deserves and wants to be emotionally fulfilled, experience love, connection in a deep, profound way, and feel supported. Like my emotional needs are seen, valued, and understood, and I don't have to give of myself or sacrifice myself, because I feel like there was a sacrifice of self for other or community or something, where I gave and gave and gave, or I stayed there longer than I should. And it really made me feel a certain way about relationship or others, that I can no longer trust or build or be free to be myself in a way here. And that's untrue. Okay, that the true power and freedom comes from speaking my truth, acknowledging what it is that I need, and then supporting it and knowing clearer boundaries through way of true wisdom, but not through a way of like, just cutting everything off that looks and resembles some experience of the past that left me feeling bitter, or left me feeling hurt, or left me feeling depleted, or emotionally just like painting everything with this brush that it's not good, you know, and I can't commit or can't build anything with anyone other than with myself, because this is some cold way to sort of be and live, you know, and I don't think you want to be sort of driving just with that. So, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this made sense to you. Leave in the comments if it resonated. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 4. Just want to make sure I'm recording. I was fear that it's not recording. You guys picked the rhinoceros. So we're looking at what blockages are getting in the way And we're looking at your masculine and feminine energy going on within you. Okay, we have feminine and masculine energy and how they're connecting with one another in order to see where the blockages might be happening, okay, for you. Now, please keep in mind that this is energy. So this could be your energy, energy around you, your situation. Take what resonates. If it's not your pile, go check out another one. So we'll ask Spirit for a clear and concise message for pile 4 in regards to the blockages that might be going on in the energy field for pile number 4. The masculine, the feminine, and the feminine is going to be on the left, the masculine is going to be on the right, and then the interconnected energy in the middle. And now I know that the feminine mind is, the brain is on the left, and the masculine's on the right. Sorry, the feminine brain is on the right, and the masculine's on the left, but the masculine rules the right side of the body, and the feminine rules the left side of the body, okay? So I am doing feminine on the left, masculine on the right, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so is this in the middle or is this masculine? It's masculine. Okay, and then we have that. I don't know what this is, but that's calling out. Interesting. So we have the feminine, the masculine, the card in between. We'll pull from 2 oracle packs here for you guys for an added layer in regards to pile 4 and the blocks going on. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Spirit, thank you so much. I just got this deck and it is massive. So I'm going to be pulling from these here. Clear and concise message for pile number 4. Thank you so much, Spirit. Please help me to channel in a way pile 4 will understand. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'll pull one more. What is the block here going on with pile number 4? Okay, don't take words literal. Okay, this is going to be the energy that I'm channeling here. So for the feminine, we have the Hierophant, Taurus energy. For the shared energy, we have the 2 swords. For the masculine energy, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. Interesting. For the oracle cards, we have projection. This came out for pile number 3. Some of you guys might have connected with that energy. And we have the number 13, which is Scorpio energy. Sorry, not 13, 14, which is Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. We have Sigma, independent and self-reliant individual, takes control, authoritative and non-conforming. Okay, and then we also have quality versus quantity, prefers rich experiences over shallow ones. Quality versus quantity, I don't know how I read that, sorry. Prefers rich experiences over shallow ones, lives more in intentionally and real impact. Okay, interesting. And now this card that's sort of hangman in reverse here. Okay, so Pisces, Sagittarius, Taurus energy coming through. Let me read this energy. Okay, pile number 4. I feel like for this group, I do feel like you are fulfilling some sort of karmic thing, okay? But I feel like it's about to play out in a way here that is really out of your control. But I do feel like you've overcome some sort of position within this journey that I feel your divine feminine is talking about. And I feel like your divine feminine might have had to rebuild its Hierophant. Okay, now when I talk of Hierophant, I always talk about it's like man-made, like religion or like some sort of structure, belief system. Okay, that's been handed down to us through tradition, through social constructs, beliefs, dogmas, and that sort of thing. And when we are given this thing, we don't question and we sort of build our identity and our life around Hierophant, okay? But I feel like for your divine feminine, I feel like there is this coming to your Hierophant on your own. So this means through a process of elimination, maybe through experience or painful circumstances, or just through realizations, deeper reflections. There's been this, what matters to me? What is greater? What is it that I want to align with? What is it that gives me purpose? What is it that makes me feel fulfilled in my soul? Because I feel like the divine feminine is learning early here, or has learned, or is in the process of understanding the greater, deeper truth of itself. Because I do feel like this energy feels like a divine feminine coming into her full understanding of who she is, what she's about, what she supports, what matters to her, and strengthening that belief in self that might have not have been there. It might have been more relying on, again, like a community or family, or like belief system structures that weren't really understood or truly experienced or integrated, more as just an understanding through the mind that's been, understood logically, but it hasn't been something she could fully support on. And so this divine feminine energy within you is like, it's kind of like I learned it and I support it through experience and integration of what truly matters and what I'm about. And so this could be really finding our wholeness and seeing our self-worth from the eyes of what's going to matter to me out there, of where I invest my time. Might not be something where I might have relied on the past to fill some sort of void or give me some sort of purpose, more so that it is, where am I investing that I see purposeful to my great power, or where I can add to it. Okay. Because I feel like there's instead of a taking sort of energy of like fulfilling self, there's this, how do I commit to from this deeper connection of this divine feminine energy that maybe we finally connected to, that we know that is a gift to provide to the universe here, even on the 3D level. How do I give of myself and that part of myself to my everyday, or to my environment, or to just my day in and day out? Like, how do I want to live my life? Because I am here in the 3D world. And now that I understand myself as maybe being more of value, or maybe certain things that are no longer of value, and it's like I have the ability to choose what I want to invest in and who I want to give to and how I want to live my life. And I prefer things of deeper reflection of truth, like my truth of now that I've been able to sit with myself and what matters to me. And so I feel like we might have had to cut off a lot of people, situations, circumstances, whatever, jobs, lifestyle, beliefs, system structures. I don't know. A lot of this stuff has had to sort of fall away here. Okay, now we're going to the masculine energy, because I feel like there's something about this in-between world that you're experiencing here. And so maybe there's that realization and that final graduation, okay, I feel, of the understanding of the feminine, but the masculine here is sort of now where do I point this? Now then where do I commit this to? Or now where do I invest this beautiful unfolding or understanding of my new self, or this self that I finally can see clearly, that can be sort of working in the 3D world and collaborating and making investment, or taking some form of action. But I feel like it's not seen or shown, because I do feel like fate is still playing out. And so we might feel like there's still a great purpose. Okay, and this purpose could be, where am I spending most of my time creating some sort of project? So it could be a creative pursuit. This could certainly be a purposeful relationship. This could be a meaningful job or career. Or this could mean something bigger than just self here. Okay. But I feel like it's still unfolding. And I feel like Spirit is talking about this sort of connection to self is needing to really be integrated and understood by the divine feminine and by self. Okay. It doesn't matter if you're male or female gender. This is really talking about just the divine feminine energy from within. Okay. And so the divine feminine energy here is one that is really self-reflective. It's one that's able to trust in the divine, tap into intuition, really sort of reflect rather than take action. And so past energy could have looked any which way. Some of you guys might have resonated with being a lot in the masculine energy, like maybe just doing, maybe following a hierophant blindly, or maybe just being sort of floundering. Okay, whatever it was. It's like now there's a greater purpose or a greater pointed commitment of sorts here that is being understood or worked on. And so a lot of you guys might be feeling blocked when it comes to, where do I go now with this? Because now I know what I don't sort of feel fulfilled by. And now I know where maybe something might be depleting me or energetically just useless when it comes to what I have to deliver or what I want to experience. And so it's really understanding and unfolding right now, like what things in your world are no longer aligned. And so anything misaligned, like I said, is being identified, is being released, or is being understood by you as something that is just misaligned. It's not going to serve this purpose right now. And I feel like this is sort of ironing out in a way that might take some time before we can fully be pointed and direct towards something that is still going to unfold. So I feel like for this group, there's something unfolding here for sure. Okay. And I do feel like the self is coming into balance with the masculine and the feminine, because I feel like once this feminine energy that is now sort of integrated comes online and is more pointed, then the masculine comes online and these two sort of marry. Okay, and they marry each other here because I feel like there is something to, I'm even seeing a wedding cake here, something to be accomplished, some purpose to be delivered, some deliverable to the collective, or to fulfill some sort of karmic purpose or something like this that still hasn't been done. And so if you've been in a period of stalemate, isolation, reflection, misunderstanding, or just like very narrow in what you were capable of performing or doing, this is coming to an end, because I do feel like things are shifting. Okay. And there will be shifting, but it's almost like spirit was waiting for this lesson to be unfolded or this understanding to be grasped. Okay. Because I do feel like, again, in the past, there was a lot of running with the old paradigm of what was handed to us as a belief, as a truth. And it was getting in the way of your purpose and your guidance and your full potential here in the 3D world of what you were going to experience and what you were capable of investing and delivering. Okay, so I feel like the feminine here for this group feels fairly solid and understood. And if it doesn't, it's coming to this point. Okay, but I feel like the masculine here has sort of been stunted. And so this is really giving me, like, if you felt very stuck, if you felt like very hermit, if you felt very like I can't go anywhere, I can't do anything new, or I can't accomplish anything, or I can't gain traction or movement, it's because your divine feminine was needing to be sorted through here in a way that wasn't allowing you movement, because spirit was saying you're not just going to move blindly. You're not just going to make moves for the sake of making moves, or you're not going to make moves that were based on your past understandings or conditioning or programs, because that would just be reliving some sort of repeats. And it's like, now that you've sort of done the work in some capacity to really reflect on what matters, and become sort of confident in your feminine energy, there's this shifting of energy back into the world somehow. Okay, that's going to wake up this divine masculine, or at least I don't feel like the masculine here was like you were sort of putting the masculine to bed, if you will. I feel like the universe was like, your masculine has to go offline, which means there is no blind action. Okay, not that masculine only does blind action, but the masculine was taking action. The masculine was doing. The masculine was running with things, like externally sort of moving energy. And so the universe took this away from you, I feel. And so you might have felt like, just no matter what I do, I can't gain traction, or I just feel like closed out, or I wanted to remove myself from the world or from the universe or from people even, not that you wanted to, but that was what you were experiencing. I don't think it was a want. I think it was like a greater force that was like removing you, pulling you into another world, a world of reflection, a world of seeing yourself from different eyes and questioning a lot of this Hierophant energy that was in your world. So again, what am I investing in day out? And where's this getting me? And is this really my truest calling? Or is this something that's expected of me, or what I thought I was supposed to do, and it was really not aligned? And so there's this new energy that I'm not conforming to any of the old me or what was expected of me. And now I know where I need to sort of dig into this greater truth of what matters to me, despite people around me or past beliefs, like I said. And now it's like, where's this direction? So I think this is where you're sort of blocked, but I don't think it's you blocked. I think the universe removed forward momentum. The universe removed your ability to make a pointed direction and taking action on a purpose. And like I said, a guided purpose, a guided relationship, a guided project, a guided career, something here that was really sort of taken away or on ice. okay, on ice. It was blocked here. It couldn't be acted upon. And so he might have felt helpless, helpless until this sort of energy came online. So let's see, Spirit, for pile number 4, what am I missing here? And what does pile 4 need to know about this block or this masculine, feminine energy that they're experiencing blockages or understanding about their experience here? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of beautiful pile number 4. Pile 4, thank you so much for letting me read for you today. I'd like to thank your spirit team and the spirit guides that are allowing me to channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. Thank you, Spirit. And thank you so, so much, pile 4, for being here. I do appreciate you guys so very much. So I just heard, look at the bottom. So what's at the bottom? Lime. Gratitude. Trigger statement. I am overwhelmed. True statement. I am moving. The time for planning is complete. Take action, no matter how small. Begin today. So this is what I'm talking about. I feel like you couldn't take action. Okay, you couldn't, because I really feel like there was all this planning that was happening energetically and integration of the divine feminine, your purpose, your strength, and understanding self from a different sort of angle. Okay, that was keeping you sort of hostage here. But I do feel it's time. It's time for movement, because I do feel a lot of you guys feel like you were stuck for quite some time. Couldn't move forward. And so I am moving. No matter how small, I feel things are going to start to move. Okay, but it's more aligned with this wedding cake. Something you're marrying to that's very aligned to your calling, your purpose. Okay, it's like a marriage of you and your truest sort of energetic, what you're supposed to be, okay, fated to sort of experience here. And you've laid the groundwork through this period of being offline and connecting to this divine feminine energy. So we have soothing, soothe, trigger statement, I need to fix this. The true statement, I am willing to learn from this. Lift yourself above your life situation and observe as a witness. Understand that you are so much more than the story. So the story was this Hierophant, and I feel like there was a need to connect to something deeper, more meaningful, and only through the way of inner experiencing, because no one can tell you your purpose, and no one can tell you till they're blue in the face of something. Okay, you have to inner experience and inner believe. And I feel like this need to fix, I do feel is like a masculine energy. And I feel like we might have been in an energy of like, in the past, okay? This is coming through as in the past, like if we never question the Hierophant, or just on overdrive of fixing and masculine energy, doing, fixing, supporting that Hierophant. And it's like, this is why the universe is sort of giving you some sort of explanation. It's like, I had to stop you, child. I had to put the brakes on here. I had to make it seem like you weren't getting anywhere or moving forward, because otherwise you would be in that masculine energy, acting blind or acting out this Hierophant. You wouldn't have questioned any of this, and there was nothing to fix. Okay, there was just a reflecting on a greater, deeper truth and questioning the Hierophant in which you were trying to run with or fix with. And so there was really a learning of a truth here that was needing to be reflected back to you. Okay, so we have Marjoram. I got to scratch my back. It says comfort. Trigger statement, people cannot be trusted. True statement, I trust my heart. Your big, beautiful heart is ready to open. Trust that you will be able to discern who is best to walk with you. So, like I said, initially, I think it was your group. Yes, at the beginning of this reading, I was talking about through painful process, you might have had to learn a greater truth and see your own strength from within, because I feel like to connect to our Hierophant, okay, not in a shallow way, but what truly matters, there has to be an experience felt. And usually we learn through a way of suffering. We learn through a way of disappointment. We learn through a way of challenge. And so I feel like maybe we got disappointed or experienced a letdown or experienced something where it was difficult for us to work through trusting other as a result of having to learn this great lesson, and so Spirit is acknowledging here, like if you've been disappointed by other, if you've experienced challenge, if you've gone through something that felt very heavy, it was all for a reason, for this greater connection of divine feminine that's now online, that cannot be unseen or taken away. That's going to be the next chapter of your life that was needing to come online here in order to really align you with the right relationship or the right purpose or the right calling. The right path would not open up unless we experience this sort of disappointment. Okay, so it's acknowledging this disappointment, but it's also acknowledging your return to heart, because I feel like you might have done a lot of work to sort of work through this inability to trust, because this divine feminine feels very solid. It doesn't feel like a divine feminine that's hiding. It feels like a divine feminine that says, hey, now I know what is right for me and what feels misaligned. And I'm not afraid to step into that. So if it was a heart that was hurt, this could have been a heart that would hide, okay, or retreat, or maybe even be in denial. But I feel like this heart or this experience is something that steps in and challenges what it needs to step forward towards. Okay, even though it is a feminine energy, I feel like it confronts, or it's able to stand in the truth of something challenging rather than retreating. It's just there. It's ready to accept. It's ready to be in flow state. It's not resisting. It's not denying. It's not suppressing. It's like, here. I'm ready to face this or experience this thing. I will not run. I will not avoid. I will not hide. I will speak my truth here, or stand in my truth, So it's very clear energy. Cinnamon, intimacy, trigger statement. This is too good to be true. The true statement, it can only get better. Allow yourself to experience more joy and love. Raise your resonance by swimming in the sweetness of life. So I think this is Spirit really talking about this wheel of the masculine that has been blocked for you is switching to this flow state, okay, where it's going to be guiding you towards what is in line with you. And I feel like you're going to feel like, wow, like this might seem almost too good to be true, because I feel like, again, the misalignment of the Hierophant of the past, and then the suffering or the experience of the disappointment we had to go through in order to find this whole self has been a process in itself that could create a projection of disappointment, and we could go in the opposite direction of anger, resentments, and need for forgiveness. I feel like we're stepping up into, hey, I could trust what the universe is putting in front of me, because I feel for a lot of you guys, this is too good to be true. Is this thing that's revealing itself to you, this ultimate relationship, or this beautiful career, or this purposeful thing that's like flowing so beautifully because it's matching your vibration. And your vibration here is like, I know my what matters to me. I know what is in line with my greater truth. And I do feel like in the past, again, it's coming through because the Sigma, we might have been in this energy in the past. Sigma, I could do it myself. I know what's good for me. But it wasn't based on a true. It might have been based on a Hierophant. And so for some of you guys, it is coming through if you're like, yeah, nodding your head. But you haven't experienced the undoing of a Hierophant. This isn't your reading. I mean, it could still be your reading for sure, but this isn't what I'm talking about here. I am talking about the deconstruction of an old Hierophant in order to rebuild of a Hierophant, because whatever this is someone here who, I'm getting both. I'm actually getting the energy here that hasn't undone the Hierophant, that is going to be undoing a Hierophant. And then I'm getting the energy here of feminine who has undone their Hierophant. Okay, and when I say the Hierophant, again, I'm talking about ways of being, ways of committing, and lifestyles that we adopt. And either we adopt it blindly, which is this, okay, or we adopt it through sitting with the Hangman, becoming enlightened, and then coming out of that point in time. And so I feel like a lot of us are coming out, and I feel like some of us might still be thinking that this Hierophant is, I got to be this strong, independent woman here that's self-reliant, And Spirit is saying, well, unless we undo this thing and we see some greater truth, we're going to be hitting this roadblock here. We're just projecting that a strong woman does it independently. Strong woman is going to, like I said, there was this understanding that we had that was like trying to upkeep some sort of fixing energy. And it's like there is nothing to fix except supporting what is true. Okay, so we need to sort of know what end we're on, because I don't want to support any untruth here where we might be blindly following some Hierophant that isn't true. It needs to be examined here, okay, through a process of higher understanding, through even a process of being removed. And so we might be removed from the universe here, and an inability to do. It's like I can't fix, I can't do, I can't move forward. And so this could look like this relationship fell apart, or this job I got let go of, or I can no longer work in that field. It's like it's removed, because there needs to be this working through this thing, Okay, so we have enlightening with arise. Trigger statement. There has to be more than this. True statement, I create my world. You are ready for a higher level of awareness and transformation. Exactly. So if we're still feeding someone else's hierophant, a belief of who we have to be, strong, independent woman, this is what I got to do and be, your things are being pulled from you until you come to your own conclusion of what matters to you. There's an enlightening process underway or has been underway, so we could gain a better understanding of what matters to us. And only when we come into sort of union of understanding, understanding, integration of that divine feminine energy, can we then take it on the road, so to speak, or take action, because then the wheel will open up. This is divinely guided. This has nothing to do with your capability. Okay, and we might think we could fight against it, or I'll just go find another job, or I'll just go find another relationship, or I'll just go do. It's like, no, we're still repeating some form of hierophant that is still misaligned. And so the whole reason for this is acknowledge the misalignment of the hierophant. It's keeping you stuck, and it's keeping you here as sort of stagnant and in this period of pause until you can see through your own mindsets, your own projections, your own stories. Okay. So here we have inspiring and freedom. Trigger statement, I have no choice. The true statement, I create my day, my life. It says, it is time to play. Do something different today to shift your routine. So this is exactly it, because I feel like maybe you were waiting an answer from the universe. For those of you guys who felt like things were falling apart or just being removed, it's like, I can't move forward. I can't do anything here. And it's like, I don't feel I have the freedom to move in any direction. It's like it's been taken away from me. And Spirit's saying, no, it's not that your choice has been taken away. It's that there is a calling here for you to uncover a great truth that will give you more freedom. Because when we're awakened to an enlightened sort of perspective of what's more important to the greater meaning of this life, and we can see it more clearly, and we undo the hierophant, we have more purpose and more clarity when making decisions. And I feel like the decisions of the past were blind, and the decisions of the past were sort of like on autopilot. And so this is a true decision that allows there to be freedom. The next move you make, pile number 4, is going to be very thought out, very aligned with what matters to you, very rewarding and very rich. It's not going to be empty or like fleeting in any sort of way. I feel like it's fulfilling. I feel like it's going to be well thought out, and it's going to be supporting a part of yourself that I feel maybe in the past was like, again, just like fleeting and unfulfilling and like checking off someone else's sort of box, it didn't feel deep. So we have Jasmine with passion. Trigger statement, I am scared. And the true statement, when I am vulnerable, I am at my strongest. Reconnect with your feminine energy and pursue something that ignites your life. Open the gates of your fortress and explore. So all of this whole journey is really in this one card saying the divine feminine was needing to be explored on a way here that was putting the brakes on everything. Because if you didn't experience the brakes, okay, on whatever was going on in your world, you would just carry on as normal. Your masculine would have carried on trying to fix things and do things and like other people's sort of agendas, like working for other or being a role, playing a role, fulfilling a role for other. Okay, but I feel like true purpose is now being seen or understood by you. And so you're going to be called to take action, to step forward here. And I do feel like maybe in the past, this would have been something that we were too scared to experience or risk. Okay, like because of the realness. It's like the realness of a relationship would have been too scary, or the realness of investing in something here would have been something we would have shied away from. And I feel like here's like, I can step into my vulnerability, my feminine energy, and be completely open and trusting in a way that's going to allow myself to realign with something more truthful, because I do feel you were very misaligned. Okay. And so all this to align you and through a process of, like I said, enlightenment, reflection, questioning hierophant, and acknowledging one's own projections, like I said, and where we were just acting blind. Okay, so pile number 4, this is your reading. I hope this resonated for you, and that, that this was your pile. Leave a comment if you resonated, and I will see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye.